welcome to another edition of the Guided Geek podcast. My name is Chris White. Joining me today, as ever, is Mr. Adam Carroll. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm very good, Chris. And you?
I'm doing pretty good, mate. Pretty good.
Excellent.
Just walked in from work. It's been a bit of a hectic day. But other than that, yeah, it's been all right, mate. It's been all right. Also joining us, it's been a while, but we're glad to have her back. It's Miss Nicola Ardron. How are you doing?
Thanks very much. Making my triumphant return to the pod. I'm good, thanks.
Good. So we've got some new games to talk about, which is nice. We'll start off with something that Nicola's been playing. Adam, do you say you played a little bit of this?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. So it is a zombie game, World War Z. So, Nick, first off, how are you finding it?
I like it. I like it a lot, actually. I'm not quite as enamoured with it as people seem to be on the Twitter and other places. I think it's quite good. It's really good fun. But there's bits of it that I kind of like. Just there's stuff in it that's not quite grabbing me. Like, so the zombie horde stuff that you have looks really impressive, but when you're kind of firing into them, there's no feeling of impact. There's no weight to, like, there's no bullet feel, if you know what I mean. So you kind of just feel a bit like mindless with it, which is fine. I don't have a problem with a game that is mindless, but I kind of feel like it would be like super good if it felt like, you know, these bullets that I was wildly spraying had, you know, that there was some sensation that they were going into flesh. God, I sound like a right ghoul, don't I? Yeah, I really want to feel that bullet going in. But do you know what I mean? I just feel like it's a bit bland in that area. But yeah, it's great. It's really good fun. It's definitely a kind of a spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead 2. I mean, it is pretty much, I mean, you know, like the gameplay and what you're doing is pretty much exactly Left 4 Dead, but with the developer's name's just gone completely out of my head, but with their sort of flair. But even like there's like so special zombies and stuff, like kind of reflect the ones that you're familiar with from Left 4 Dead 2, like the Charger and that one that spits on you, I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, it has those kind of zombies. And that's another thing I want to say as well, because I said it feels a bit bland when you're firing into like these zombies, like this great horde of zombies. The specials are a bit nondescript as well. They don't really feel like a threat. And it's been a long time since I've played Left 4 Dead or Left 4 Dead 2, but I always remember that, you know, if you heard a smoker or, you know, some indication that their special zombie was around somewhere, you were kind of like a little bit on edge, weren't you? Because these buggers would like jump on you when you were separated from the group or whatever. And whilst that does happen in World War Z, there doesn't seem to be any sense of tension that they're there, because they're killed relatively easy, with the exception of perhaps the bull. They are all killed pretty easily. So I am enjoying it.
How do you find the difficulty, Nick? Because this is something that I haven't really heard many people talk about. So I'm going to be honest, like, I started off playing this game on, like, I can't remember what it says, but at the beginning when you can choose your difficulty, I think it's almost telling you to play easy, like, to, like, your average player, it seems, you know, because it can go up to as far as insane, I think it is.
Yeah.
And, like, when you're... the effect of the bullets and stuff, and the amount of zombies that come at you when the horde really kicks in.
I mean, that looks really cool, though, doesn't it?
It is, like, especially in the, like... I think it's a lot of people have seen this one. I think it's like the first map where it's like the shopping mall almost, and you can see them running through the like glass windows and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's really like, this is going to be insane. However, it just becomes way too overwhelming all of a sudden, I felt. There's zombies coming from everywhere, and then I think the whole team structure just falls apart. Something that, like, Left 4 Dead always had. I always thought, like, for the time that I ever played Left 4 Dead, it was like, it felt great as a team playing the game. Now, it's another kind of conversation here, but from what I've seen so far, the teamwork is shit. It's like people are actually being assholes on it, and they're just you're getting shot by your own teammates all the time, and I don't know, I think this game is really only made for you and 3 of your friends to get in together.
Yeah, I mean, any game is made better by playing with your pals rather than randoms, isn't
100%.
it? But, I mean, I've been playing it on normal, and with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 maps, I've not really struggled too much on normal. However, I have been playing with a group of people that I have played with for a long time, and we all know each other very well, and we've played not games like this specifically, but we do play a lot of shooters, and we know how to, set ourselves up and that kind of stuff. The minute that I've played with randoms, oh my God. I think I made a joke on Twitter saying that, the people that I've been match made with have been so bad that I'm actually wondering whether they're the zombies that I'm supposed to be shooting.
I know.
Not the swarm that's coming for me, because they just... I don't know, you get different types of players, don't you, when you get matched? You get the dick who thinks that they're like total hot shit and like, oh my God, I got all the zombie kills. But that's because the prick kept running off and like shooting everything, and then you have to come and save them from the special that's got them. But at the end, they've got the most zombie kills, so they think they're like the best, despite the fact that they've been a total pain in the ass for everybody else. And then you've got the ones who are not entirely sure what they're supposed to do, and they just kind of like amble around and are a bit like, don't really know where to go. And even though there's great big objective markers in the middle of the screen, they can't seem to work out that that's where we've got to go to like progress the next the next stage on. And then you've got ones who just seem to naturally kind of work. But I seem to be constantly matched with these ones who are just running off and trying to get as many kills as they possibly can. And other ones who just seemingly don't realise that you're supposed to do some objective stuff. Like there's a couple of things. I mean, Left 4 Dead had it as well. I remember a specific level in the swamps where you had to gather like gas canisters to fill a generator and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's that kind of stuff going on in the levels where you have to gather things. And people just don't seem to be doing it. And it's super frustrating when you're trying to go and collect these items and the rest of the team are not coming with you. And it's like, well, it's all very well you just standing, making a stand and shooting zombies, but they're just going to keep coming
and that's
until we do the objective markers. And it's that kind of is frustrating. But there again, a lot of games fall down when there isn't communication between, between team members. I'm thinking specifically of a game recently that I played was Anthem, that I didn't play for long. But I played Anthem, and there's a mission or a section of, I think it's the Stronghold thing with the big bug that you fight. There's a section of that where you actually have to stand within a certain area of the map while you're being swarmed with enemies. And oh my God, the amount of times I did that where I would be the only person in it and everybody else is outside of it, and it just took forever because it's designed that all 4 of you are standing in it, so it moves along much quicker. So I don't think that issue is unique to World War Z, but it does feel very stark, and it does feel like even easy is a chore with other players.
Yeah, and I think that's where I think it's going to take a bit more time for the game to fall into place with like the community that are going to stick with it, and then just like actually working and making the game run the way it should be. Because I think like a lot of people that you randomly would play with, look, I'm even guilty of it at the beginning. I think everyone is just looking at the swarms coming in, and it's kind of like, okay guys, there is like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of zombies coming in at once, but there's also like loads of them coming in from behind and at that corner over there, and like it's very difficult to like work that way with random people, because everyone's just like, brilliant, as you said, I'm just going to get all these headshots and that's it. But like, you can get so quickly overwhelmed by so many zombies, and then there's just no one helping you, and you're like, oh, this is just very frustrating. Along with then, like, I've seen a couple of bugs now at this stage, like completely like freezing on, like having to force shut down the game and things like that. Like, obviously that's going to be over time something that'll hopefully be fixed, but it's very strange to see where the longevity of this game is going to go, because like, it is just a Left 4 Dead thing, I guess, and it has its moments of fun, but as you said, I think the impact of mowing down all these zombies, especially the amount that are coming in, I think it just needs to be a bit more just, I'm feeling all of this and it's just straight up fun, and then we're just like tearing through all these waves. And then just the teamwork. Like, I've yet to play with 3 actual like people that I know, and that's something I'm hoping to do quite soon, but like, I think like for the price that the game is, it's not bad at all. Like, I
think it's a really good game, and I would recommend it for people who like this kind of stuff. I mean, it is. Yeah. It's a solid game. I just feel a little bit about it. I'm not quite as enthused about it as I have seen other people on social media be about it. I mean, there's things in it that I really like. Like, there's a sort of loose class system. Not that they particularly make a big difference. Certainly not on, easy and normal. But there's like this loose class system that you can, you can level up, and there's weapons that you can level up and stuff like that. So there is a little bit of like divergence from what Left 4 Dead was or is. But there again, I was just thinking to myself that I've been playing as the medic. It's not my preferred choice, but I thought I'll give the medic a go. And for the first sort of couple of levels of each class, to be fair, it's a pain in the arse, because you don't really have anything, and you just feel like a useless member, basically. Yeah. But I've been playing as the medic, and the medic has an ability that if they heal somebody else, so if they have a health pack on them and they use it to heal another player, they themselves get a health boost. And it's that kind of stuff that bugs me in, like, if I was to be match made with random players, because if I'm playing with my teammates, they go, oh Nick, there's a health pack here, and I'll go, great, I've already got one, or fab, I'll pick it up, and I'm the one going around healing folk because I get the health boost as well. So if my health's low, I heal them and I get like 30% health back myself. So it makes sense for me to do it because it's more efficient on the use of our health packs. But if you play with a random set of characters, then everybody's out for themselves, aren't they? They see a health pack. They might even stand at a health pack, use the one that they already have in their inventory, and then pick up the other one. Do you know what I mean? It's like, there isn't really much sharing of resources when you tend to play with randoms, which unfortunately this game kind of needs you to do, because otherwise you're going to struggle, particularly at higher levels. I've had 2 friends who've tried the higher level, and they're saying like you literally like get brushed by a zombie and you're dead on insane. But there again, it's supposed to be a game of progression, so you play it through on normal, get yourself leveled, your weapons leveled up to a certain level, your perks added into, your class or your main class character, and then you try the harder levels. A bit like Vermintide 2, where you play through the campaign multiple times, leveling up and getting stronger so that you can then take on a more difficult level. That's how World War Z is going to be working, but it's really a question of whether this kind of at times really exciting gameplay, but also a little bit bland gameplay is enough to kind of keep attention for people to be playing it through multiple times to get to the hardest difficulty. I don't know at this point. I'm still trying to formulate my thoughts on it, really.
Yeah, I really wasn't feeling the PvP at all in it. I don't know, like, I just think...
I haven't even tried that yet.
Oh, Jesus. It's just because when it just kicks in and you have these 4 other people that you're against, it's kind of like, this is fine and all, okay, cool, let's just try and kill each other. But then as soon as the wave of just zombies starts coming in, you just don't care about the other team that you're against. You're just like, all right, just go away now, and you just want to shoot. And then there might be some other person that comes at you and tries just to kill you. And I know that's the point of the game, but it's like, I'm just looking at these other people and I'm like, you're not half as fun to kill as these are. So like, just please go away or just join me in shooting all these zombies, you know?
Yeah.
It's a kind of a weird mode to have in the game, but yeah, I'll see. I think it's quite funny that is it the name that's kept this game kind of to our attention, because like the fact it's just called World War Z, it's so funny that it's taken this long to release the game of that movie to this, you know. But like for the price, there is fun to be had.
Oh,
like,
definitely.
There is fun to be had, with it.
How much is it?
It's only like 40 euro or something anyway for me. So about £45 or £30 maybe.
Right, okay.
It's worth it.
Well, whilst you were chatting, I looked up the developers, and the last 2 games were NBA Playgrounds 2 and Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn.
Was that the Shaquille O'Neal game?
Was, mate, yeah.
Wowzers.
which I played, and it was awful.
Was it bad, yeah?
It's full of racial stereotypes, combat.
I haven't even got to that bit yet. Did
they do that?
No, yeah. I haven't played enough of the scenario to really formulate my thoughts on it, but there is some issues with it. So each scenario or each chapter has a different set of characters, and they've all got like their own voice lines, but some of them are a little bit kind of make you wince a little bit in terms of what their voice line stuff is. But having said that, I also think there's audio issues in the game. So a lot of that ambient stuff, of that voice line stuff is overridden by the ambient noise and the music. I've had to turn the music of the game down because it's just it's overpowering everything else. And as in Left 4 Dead, there was a real sense of atmosphere at times. Like there'd be moments when the game was really quiet, and that there was a sense of tension. There doesn't seem to really be that. Certainly not, the audio's not delivering that. But yeah, there's a couple of like scenarios where you just kind of go, oh my god. Like just some of the voice lines that are being used by these characters are just a little bit like, I don't know. Yeah.
No, I definitely agree with you. I think for me, I was kind of expecting a lot of those kind of issues. Like I definitely was going into this game just going, all right, it's a zombie game. Just let me just destroy hundreds of zombies with friends and I'll be happy. Everything else, like as long as it runs pretty well. And I gotta say, it actually looks pretty good. Like it has its issues definitely, but it could look far fucking worse. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's not by any stretch a great looking game. It does look a bit janky.
I think you said on Twitter, Nick, that like up close, I think the horde when it's kind of climbing, it looks like arse or something.
Yeah,
like
it
that.
does. It really does. But I think that isn't the point. It's about that sort of writhing mass of bodies, and that I think is conveyed quite well. It's just that if you really stop and look at it, it really doesn't look great at all.
Because it is such a moment though, like when they are just running down.
Well, they're like
throwing
there. Themselves off the top of buildings to join in on the swarm and stuff. I mean, and the way that they build that pyramid as well is cool. Yeah. I mean, it's cool, but there again, you can just throw a grenade down, and the grenades just feel like nothing. I've got a real issue with this feeling of impact. But you throw a grenade down, it feels like nothing. You've just toppled this pyramid of like hundreds of bodies, and it's done nothing. It's just a bit wishy-washy. You're very
quickly overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Like that was the thing when I was on about the difficulty side. It's like you could be there and there's loads of guys coming at you, but if there's 10 guys running at you, they're going to be on top of you, unless you turn and run. Do you know what I mean? And that's kind of where I'm like, I just wish I was just destroying everyone right now. But I know, like, probably more time with the game and like upgrades and whatnot, I think that helps. Like, because some of the weapons as well, I didn't expect to exist in the game. Like, some of the weapons are just hilarious.
Yeah.
Like that massive chainsaw that you just have going around. You're like, what?
Yeah, there's a massive chainsaw. There's a weird crossbow that fires explosive bolts.
Yeah.
The top tier of the combat shotgun, which is a beast even its lower tier, has a silencer on it, which is just weird.
I know.
Which is weird, but the weapons are quite good. It's just that none of them really have any gun feel. That's an awful word, but you know what I mean. There isn't any weight to it. But it's good. It's good fun.
Cool.
Good. Right, so another game which I've been playing over the weekend. A review in progress has gone up, so you can read that on the site. But Mortal Kombat 11 is here, and it's very good. So the reason there's a review in progress, the servers aren't massively populated at the minute, and we didn't get the game till shortly before embargo, so I don't want to just rush it. But it's excellent. Like, as far as Mortal Kombat games go, it's one of the best. It's one of the kind of best fighters I've played for a long time, because it builds on what made Mortal Kombat 10 good, and also Injustice 2. Like that, obviously it's both by NetherRealm, both very well made, but this is just something else. Like the combat is so smooth, it's so well balanced, and like each fighter feels unique. So, I mean, everyone tends to go with a certain character to be their fighter they take into battle throughout all the different online challenges and online battles and stuff like that. And whilst I have that character, I have been dabbling with a lot of them. And like, one of the things I wanted to do before I wrote the review was the story as well. Which it's ridiculous, but in a great way. Like,
I've heard good things about the story of this. Yeah,
I mean, it's it's good because it kind of unites the past and present. So the main kind of gist is that at the end of Mortal Kombat 10, the big bad from that was called Shinnok, and Raiden ends up like cutting his head off, and Raiden kind of turns a bit mental because he's using Shinnok's amulet, which kind of sends him a bit crazy. But he's protecting Earth in any way he can, but he kind of goes a bit Thanos and just kind of uses weird methods to do so. So this woman who can kind of manipulate time, called Chronica, she comes in to try and restore the balance and reset history so it all starts again. And along the way, you see different versions of characters that have come before. And I'm talking like characters that were in the originals, or versions of characters which are in the originals, just brought up to the present day. So it's completely insane, but it's also well written. And like the way that, I mean, it's very similar to to Mortal Kombat 10. You would have a chapter where it would follow Johnny Cage, and Johnny Cage would have 5 or 4 fights. And then the story would move on with a cutscene, and then you'd play a new chapter with, say, Sub-Zero or Scorpion, and it kind of progresses like that. And there's 12 chapters in all, 12 kind of different stories that are kind of all intermingle. It's really good. I think the difficulty, I mean, I played through it on medium, and it wasn't difficult at all until you get to kind of the end, but like it's thoroughly enjoyable, and it's a way for you to kind of get to play all the characters you wouldn't normally use, because I mean, there's characters like Jax, and the new character Garrus, they're both big bulking chaps, and they tend to use their strength over speed. And then you've got people like Liu Kang and Kung Lao that opt for their speedy attacks and stuff like that. Then you've got those that use blood magic, that you've got those that use fire. Sub-Zero uses ice. There's a lot of different powers and a lot of different kind of skills involved into to seeing who you would rather play as. But there's tons of improvements as well. Like the customization is nuts. Like not just you don't. There's different skins for your character, but it goes beyond that. Like in Justice and Mortal Kombat before, you could change different parts of your armor or clothing, but you can also change your fatalities. There's this thing called the crypt. It's basically it's basically a kind of a mode of the game where you go into a character called Shang Tsung, who's from Mortal Kombat of old. And he's got this temple, and you go around the temple, and there's like boxes. So instead of just getting a loot box and pressing square to open it, you go into this crypt, and you can find different ones to open. And they've all got like a value. You're just
running around, like
yeah, you're running around this island, which
mad.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And so there's like boxes which cost like 5,000 coins to open, or boxes that cost 12,000, and coins are dead easy to earn. Like you can go into the story mode, you get loads. Fighting online will get you some, and also the Towers of Time mode, which is basically like the multiverse in Injustice, where the devs throw out new challenges every week, and basically towers where you have to fight a certain amount of different characters. Sometimes there's only 3, sometimes there's 5. They have different difficulties. They have different kind of modifiers on the fights, such as certain battles, there's like these rockets filled with blood that fire at you and can do damage to you, or there's like acid that rains on you that can damage to you and stuff like that. You can earn coins that way. But that's kind of the way the loot boxes work. I haven't spent enough time to see how much of an impact it makes, but I know there are certain fatalities I want for my kind of main, but I haven't found them yet. So there's no indication of telling you, oh, if you open this loot box, it'll give you Geras's new fatalities or a new skin for Cabal or something. It's all random, it seems, which is fine, because I guess the more you play, the more coins you're going to earn anyway. So eventually you'll get something for your characters. But you can change their fatalities, their special moves even. You can change like their intro movie, their outro cinematic, I believe. All stuff like that. And there's a hell of a lot to unlock, but I'm not finding it difficult to unlock. And as I say, I've played through the story. I've played loads of like fights, just one-on-ones, but I've dabbled with the Towers of Time. I need to spend more time with that and more time with online to kind of give it a proper review. But like I adore it. Like I absolutely love it, and I think the way that the combat's balanced, and there's like the new defensive block system, which if you time a defense. Like if you time a block correctly, it opens up a window for you to unleash a combo which will do some damage, and then you've also got the option to kind of modify special moves by pressing the R1 button at a particular time after you've inputted your combo, which can either like increase the amount of damage or prolong the attack by adding a few new animations to it. So there's loads of kind of stuff to help you along the way, and as I say, I keep saying it's balanced, but it really does feel balanced.
That's the thing, like that was what I was going to ask with regarding how it's like balanced as such. How is it tailored towards people like me, for example? Like I'm Soul Calibur 2 and Smash Bros. That's it for me. When it comes to fighting games, that's all really I can take on and feel like I can win in these things and get a massive amount of enjoyment out of it. Mortal Kombat, the whole franchise, the whole theme is just right up my street. But anytime I've gotten like a game from the series, or even like say Injustice and stuff, because I think these games just look visually incredible. Like it's so polished. But you saying no, like they're opening up these kind of new like blocking techniques and whatever. Like, is that tailored towards like a kind of an all-round audience and not just fighting fans? Like
I think NetherRealm fighters, for me personally, are my favourite kind, because like I love Smash, don't get me wrong, and I think that's a great game. But think like Street Fighter, there's a lot to it, a lot to like the V triggers and all that kind of stuff. I think that's tailored to kind of the hardcore fighters. Whereas I think NetherRealm, they don't make it easy, but they make it kind of pretty straightforward to learn. So it's kind of you pick your character and you you kind of remember their combos. And like a technique I always use is go through like a load of fights, remembering like 3 separate moves, and then some specials, and then kind of get used to them, and then gradually introduce new attacks. So you learn the moveset gradually, but it all kind of stays with you. So it's very particular with the movesets. And then with the defensive block things, it's just like there's no special button. You just press block, and if you get the block timing right, that's when it unleashes the kind of defensive block that's kind of special. And also, if you are struggling, there's a thing called the fatal blow, which when your health gets to 30% or below, you get a special move by it. So if you press the L2 and R2 triggers together on the PS4, for instance, you'll then unleash this kind of animation which lasts for about 10 seconds, and you just unleash this like really cool looking move, and it takes off a load of damage. So
yeah,
I think it's very easy to learn. It's the mastering. It's kind of like playing bass. It's easy to kind of learn the basics, but you spend time with it, you get to learn the different techniques and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be beyond you, mate, to learn it. I think you'd get on pretty well with it compared to a lot of fighters.
Yeah, and as like obviously being the 11th game in the series, right? I know like review and progress and everything for the site. Like, is there anything so far from what you've played that you're like, I hope they'll maybe change this down the line, or like where do you think it needs to go next, or do you think they've kind of pretty much nailed the definitive Mortal Kombat game?
I think
mental.
No,
like this is the 11th game.
I get completely what you're saying. I think like with these games now, like it's like Injustice. I think Injustice 2 for me was the last best fight, like my favourite fighter, and I didn't think you could really improve anything. I thought the combat was excellent. I thought the way the story played out was great. I think the multiverse mode, which was like the Towers of Time back then, that was great. I thought the different skins and stuff like that was great. But I think now Mortal Kombat have done with the swapping around the special moves and the intro movies and all that kind of stuff is giving you more customization. Yeah, I think if Injustice had that, it would have been great. So looking at Mortal Kombat 11, like at the minute, like it's everything I want. Excellent. Everything I wanted out of it.
Yeah.
And like I've been dabbling with it quite a bit. Like I played the beta and then went to the event on Tuesday. So I've seen a lot of it, and I've just wanted to get my hands on the final product, and now it's here. Like I just want to keep playing it. And I think like because it's not just like I'm going to play the shit out of it now, but then down the line it's all the DLC characters they're going to announce, and that was dead exciting about Injustice 2, because like we ended up getting Hellboy in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like that was just mental. Like, what are we going to get with Mortal Kombat? So
yeah,
that's to look forward to as well. But it'd be interesting to see how like after the practice I'm doing at the minute, how I get on with it online, because there are people that are just insane.
Yeah,
at that event we watched like pros and stuff like that, and they were just incredible.
Yeah,
so
of course. Yeah.
You know, I'm hoping not to get smashed, but at the minute, yeah, it's absolutely brilliant, and I can't wait to kind of play more and kind of get my full thoughts on everything. So yeah, it's very good, man. Another game which Nick has been playing, been very busy, is Astroneer on the Xbox.
Yes.
Yes.
But I have been playing Astroneer because she wouldn't get me anywhere near Mortal Kombat. Just wanted to say that. Fighter's just not my bag. Anyway, it sounds great.
That's fine.
Yeah, I've been playing Astroneer. Can I sort of explain how I've come round to that? Because I think we missed... I know that you played it in preview.
Yeah.
Ages ago. But I think we missed the release of it, didn't we?
I don't think we got code or anything.
No,
so,
well, I watched the No Clip documentary on Astroneer, and I was like, why did I not know about this game? I vaguely remembered that you'd previewed it, but I was like, did we review it? Because it sounds like the sort of game that I'd really enjoy. Yeah. And I mentioned it in our Slack group, didn't I? And in the end, I think Adam said, look, let's get it. We'll just buy it and you can review it. So I've been on it. And it is my jam, but I'm a little bit confused by it at the moment.
Well, I'm kind of interested to see why, because, like, as you said, I played it once upon a time. And it was very confusing to me, but I'm just intrigued to see why.
I think, first of all, I definitely think it'd be easier to play it on PC.
Yeah.
Just because the mouse is, it's so much easier to just use key bindings, and the mouse is so much more precise. I mean, it's perfectly fine on controller, but the controls are a bit fiddly. So there is that element where it's a little bit fiddly to play. Like, and it's also, in terms of like controller mapping, it doesn't feel as intuitive as perhaps I've become accustomed to, because I am a console gamer, I'm not a PC gamer. So there's a few sort of button presses that I would have gone, I'd have put that on that button or what. And I don't know, I might be able to remap my controls, I'm not sure, but like the default controls feel a little bit off in some way. But yeah, I've landed on this planet, and I've gone around and I've gathered like some resources, and I've built a few things, and I've worked out that I have to go and scan like, I guess, plant types. I mean, there is an interactive element in the HUD that lets me know that these items I can scan, and I scan them and I get nanites in return for scanning them. And I use nanites to spend on recipes that I can build new things with. But I'm kind of struggling to find resources. I figured, like, well, it must be like Minecraft or any of these other kind of games where the resources, like more complex resources are hidden underground. So I've like dug down into the ground, but there's nothing there. There's nothing there. So I'm trying to find like these I need iron for a particular item that I feel like I need to build. Don't even know why I need it, but I feel like that's the next step. And I've had to use a wiki to find out where iron is. And it's not even a case that I can actually dig iron up. I need a different mineral that I then use a machine that I've built to produce iron. So it's a bit kind of weird. And I think it's just that at the moment. It's just kind of getting used to, I guess, the language of the world in the, like, I know that this resource, if I put it in this machine, it will give me this compound. Do you know what I mean? I'm just trying to kind of work stuff out at the moment. And I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do. I'm assuming that I can build a spaceship, because I did the tutorial, and I built a spaceship in the tutorial, and I powered it, and I flew off, and that was the end of the tutorial. So I'm assuming that I can kind of use this spaceship as a means to go to a different planet, and that planet might have a new tier of resources that I can use to build more complex things. Machines, right? So yeah,
I get you, because it was like the same for me. It's very confusing what you're supposed to start off doing, and how because you have to tether yourself, don't you, to kind of not die.
Yeah.
And that took me ages to work out, because I was running off, then the oxygen was running out, I was running back. Then I worked out I had to use the oxygen. Then I would dig underground and find nothing, and I must have had to restart my game at least 7 or 8 times before I understood it. And then you get your resources, but then you go to build something and you can't build it because you need to buy that smelter, which you're on about, which can like changes it to iron.
Yeah.
So there's a hell of a lot you've got to learn without any kind of guidance.
Yeah.
It was stressful, but it like, as a visually, and like being in that world, there's something really kind of fascinating about it, and it's really kind of.
There's something very toy-like about it. Did you get a sense of toys?
Yes, I did.
Like, there's a really satisfying clunk when you clip a machine into a platform that is powered.
Yeah.
It's got that really pleasing little clunk, almost like a Lego clunk.
Yes.
And the way that you open up your backpack, it kind of pops out. And you it pops out and it's like a big thing now on the screen, so you can see what you've got in your backpack. And that's really like, it kind of reminds me a bit of like Playmobil, if you ever had that as a kid, or your kids have got Playmobil. It's kind of like that. It just feels like very toy-like. Even your little astronaut is kind of like, I don't know, it kind of feels like a little character that you can play with. And your rover that you can build, it's all like component parts and stuff that kind of clip really neatly into each other.
Yeah.
The tutorial I played, I don't know if there was a tutorial in the preview build, but there is a tutorial now that kind of explains that you need to be tethered. So I knew about that straight away. So that I didn't have that initial period, although there was an element because I couldn't find the resource that I needed to build the tethers. But yeah, there's this whole thing, isn't it? Because if you move away from your tether, you only have a limited amount of power and oxygen on you. Now you can build like little packs of oxygen and power packs that deplete, like consumables that you can add, which extend your ability to be away from your tether for that little bit longer. But ultimately, you need to build this network of tethers that go from your home base to wherever you're exploring. So at the moment, I've got like a spider's web of tethers leading everywhere, because I just keep going off and trying to find something new. And I have found a few new bits of resources, but I've had to go a long way from where I am. And now I'm thinking, well, should I be building a rover now? Should I actually be building a vehicle so that I can travel further? But then I come back and I've got the recipe to build it, but I don't have the resources to build it. So I'm trying to work out how to get my resources at the moment.
Why would somebody pick this over, say, No Man's Sky? Because
I guess it's going to come down to the aesthetic of it, maybe. I mean, it's very similar. Now that you've said No Man's Sky, it is very similar to No Man's Sky in terms of kind of what you're doing.
That's what I mean. Like when you said, like,
but you don't build
building
machines.
Your ship and stuff.
You don't build machines. Like, you're not building.
Yeah.
I suppose you do now in No Man's Sky, don't you? Because you build like that weird printer thing, don't you? And
yeah. Like,
and
I think, like, from where
you don't build.
Where
you build a base? I don't even know. Do you build a base? I don't know. I'm a bit confused.
I just think, like,
by
where
it.
No Man's Sky has kind of gotten to at this stage, like, this just seems kind of a bit more. If you're just not into No Man's Sky and you preferred early day No Man's Sky, this is maybe what you should do, but it's probably going to be like that little bit more complicated. Like, to me, if the basic things of like mining and crafting are difficult, that is a massive frustration for me. Like, that's not fun. Like, especially if you're out in this like world and there's all these like kind of different planets or whatever. That sounds wicked and just like great fun, but No Man's Sky seems to have kind of gone that direction now and has had time to really step up, like, and create this great thing. This is just kind of a bit more of like a difficult version, it seems.
It's not difficult. It's just that it feels a bit obtuse, maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just a bit dim. I don't know.
No, you're not.
It's like,
because that means I'm dimmer. So I'd rather not.
it's like I like playing it. I like playing it a lot, but some frustration has crept in because I can't seem to find this next level of resource that I need to be able to build this thing that I think I need. And it may even turn out that I build this thing that I think I need. And it's not what I need. God, that sounds awful sentence structure there. But you know what I mean? Like, I built this soil centrifuge, and I thought, do I even need that? I don't know. What do I need that for? But I built it, and I started using it, and actually, it's quite useful because I can gather soil, which initially I couldn't do. Like, I don't know if you had this problem, Chris, that you can remove terrain, but I couldn't work out how to put terrain back.
Yeah, I don't think I could. I don't think when I played it, it was like suck out the terrain, but not put it back.
Yeah, well, the way you do that is you build these canisters and you slot them into your backpack. And then as you remove terrain, it puts that into the canisters in your backpack. And you can then switch and use a different mod on your little tool, and then you can build terrain or flatten it. But that took me a while to work out that that's what it was. But also these little canisters of soil that you can gather, you can stick in a soil centrifuge, and it gives you things that it does like a quick analysis of it, and it'll tell you what this soil centrifuge will get, like what byproduct it'll get for you. So I've started just randomly getting the soil and going, all right, well, I'll try what's that compound do? Do you know what I mean? What's that going to do? If I get that out of the soil, what can I use it for? So I've kind of been doing that at the moment. And like, I found something, I think, was it clay or something? Yeah, I found clay. And I thought, well, what use is that? And I put it in the furnace thing and I made ceramic. And I'm like, well, I don't really know what to do with ceramic, but I'll keep hold of it. And then I found like one of the bigger tier recipes that I have to learn still needs ceramic. So I'm like, oh, okay, so I do need that resource. But so it's kind of a puzzle at the moment, just trying to puzzle and piece things together, which I like in a game anyway. I like that kind of working stuff out, but I just feel a little bit... I feel like there's a bit of a barrier to me moving at the moment. And I know that from past experience with other games, I know that once I get over that barrier, things will start slotting into place and making much more sense. I think also I'm kind of like causing the barrier myself, because I could just as easily go on YouTube and watch a quick playthrough of somebody, Do you know what I mean? I can watch a playthrough and sit and go, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. Or I could sit on a wiki and, flip through recipes and go, okay, so where do I find that ingredient? I mean, I could sit and do that, and I have done that to a certain element, but I like to not do that. And, I like to try and work it out myself and, with the tools that the world gives me. But I feel like there's maybe something slightly missing at the moment that isn't as obvious, as an obvious route for me to progress. So I kind of feel like it's working against me a little bit, if you get what I mean. But it's quite good. I quite like it. Yeah,
you got to spend some more time with it, I guess. Yeah. Hopefully it kind of works its way out and you kind of get to know what you're supposed to do with certain elements. Okay, listener correspondence. So we've got some questions from Thomas, as always. Bless him. Resi 4 on Switch. So outrageously overpriced, but I've pre-ordered. Any of the team planning on picking it up?
I'm going to say no, but who knows with Resident Evil 4 and me? Who knows?
About you, Adam?
I just don't know how many more times I need to buy this game. And, like, it's just I just keep buying Resi games over and over and over. I do, like, I want it on the Switch, but he says outrageously overpriced. It is ridiculous.
So what is the price out of interest? Yeah, what is it?
Well, €30. It is, so probably, was it £24.99?
Yeah,
pounds?
that's a bit poor.
It's too much, and that's all the three. So it's like Resi 4 is £24.99, and then I think the remake and Zero. Like, I don't know. That's just maybe this is a bit too little, but I think for all three, like 30 quid for all three, is that just being a bit? I don't fucking know.
No,
but like,
I think that's
it's reasonable. Like, these games have been out. People have bought them over and over. It's just to have them on the Switch is a really nice thing, but like I can't justify spending, because I know that I'll buy Resi 4 or one of them, and I'll be like, eventually at some stage, because I don't know, it'll probably go down a $5 in some sale maybe. But like, if I was to buy that now, I'd be like, oh cool, there it is, and I won't play it, because I'll be like, I fucking played this game loads. I just keep wanting it all the time. Do you know?
Yeah.
It's weird. It's definitely, unless it was like the definitive version of Resi 4, which like it's probably not going to be, whatever. Probably the best thing to get out of those three is the remake of 1. Well, not the remake, the whatever you want to call it, the HD version or something. That's probably the best one to get because there's been such a change in it, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Am I going to pick it up? Probably.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say no, but then it's Resi 4, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I haven't played Resi 4 since the GameCube.
Oh, well, look,
Oh
that's
my
a different
God.
story then.
Yeah, but then I could just buy it on the PS4 and it'd probably be cheaper.
You could do
Like
that.
I
yeah,
don't
but you
play the
can't
Switch
play
near
it
enough.
on the go, though, can you, Chris?
Yeah.
I know, but I don't really go. Like, I don't play anything on the go really.
Oh, that's
Unless
the
I'm on a
only way
train.
I play my Switch. That is literally
No.
the only way I play my Switch. It is constantly in handheld.
So if I'm on the go,
Yeah.
I tend to like listen to podcasts, so I'm more just sit there and listen rather than have to do anything.
Yeah.
Because I'm a lazy fucker. But no, I'd like to play it again. But like games, innit? There's plenty coming out and plenty here already, so I don't know if I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Another question by Thomas. What's your view on the eShop? How can Nintendo better curate an increasingly crowded space? I've got no answer to this because I spend no time in there. So hopefully one of you guys have.
I go there pretty much nearly every day. I just think it's insanely weird how Nintendo haven't like gone off and like made it more charismatic and more colourful. That's the thing. Like, I don't know why you can't just go into the eShop and see like fun little like Mario sprites kind of like here and there, and do you know, just have a bit more Nintendo within it. It's just very like, there you go, and it just, I don't know, there's no magic. It just misses Nintendo magic or something. It's a bit slow, but I think that might all change if they're going to release this new Switch whatever down the line. But yeah, I don't know. The only thing like that they can fucking improve upon is like the prices, because they're just like crazy.
Oh God, yeah, they are.
The prices of stuff is mental.
But do you think that's ever going to be sorted? I
Never.
can't
I
see
doubt it
ever,
really,
yeah.
man, because like Nintendo games, like digital wise and physical, they're always like there's a sale on right now, and to be fair, I think they call it a blockbuster sale or something. You can get some pretty decent deals. Like I think like Odyssey is like €40 or something, and then like Skyrim. Well,
That's still shit. That's still ridiculous.
It's still a lot. But for somebody who maybe has never played Odyssey, you know, €40 is just like, whoa, that's amazing money right there, you know, to spend. But it's still, time has gone on. Like Breath of the Wild has gone down $20, but at the same time, why can't these games go down to 30? Do you know?
The pricing does seem a bit weird.
It's always weird. It's I don't understand. Like, and then you get kind of games like Cuphead and stuff that come on. They're 20, and that's fine. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
But it's always just the Nintendo ones. They never seem to go on. But if you go into like a GameStop now and stuff like that, like it's insane how much games are for like the Switch.
Do you know, you say that right, because my husband, I've been nagging for Breath of the Wild I got my Switch, not Christmas just gone, the Christmas before, so I've had it nearly a year and a half, I guess, come June. And like my husband doesn't really buy me games anymore because I've got more games than I could ever play in 1,000 lifetimes. But he was saying, what do you want? And I've been mithering for Breath of the Wild for a long time. And he bought me it for Christmas. A complete surprise, actually, because he was always complaining about how much it was. But he bought me it for Christmas, and I was like really, really pleased. But even now, I mean, what are we, like 4 months after Christmas? And he still goes, I can't believe how much that game was. How old is that game? It must be like, is it 2 years or something?
2 years now.
2 years old. He says, I can't believe how much it was. He said, I kept watching it to see if the price was going to come down. He says, it's never once come down. I was like, that's what Nintendo games are. They just seem to retain their original price for ridiculous amounts of time. I don't even know if they ever come down because
No,
whispering, this is the first Nintendo console I've ever had. So
Whoa! Say what?
Hang on a second, wait. Can we actually before we move on? Have you gone through Breath of the Wild?
I'm playing it. I'm playing it at the moment. I'm taking my time with it. It's lovely.
Nicola, where are you right now?
I've only just come off the plateau. I'm kind of pottering around. I found a horse.
That's fine. You just need to potter all the time.
Yeah, I found a horse.
That's what that game is.
And I've been pottering around, attacking bandit camps. And I've tried to swim across a river. And I've been going into shrines. I've done a few shrines, so I've got a few new powers and stuff. And I don't know, really. I'm kind of on my way roughly towards what I guess is a settlement. I'm not entirely sure at the moment. I'm just pottering.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I hope you stick with it. Because I would.
Oh, it's lovely. It's lovely.
Yeah.
Whenever I pick up my Switch, I always kind of look at it and go, "Oh no, I'm not going to play that." And then I try and play something else on it, and then I go, "No, I'm going to play Breath of the Wild." But I never do anything on it.
Back.
I never do anything on it. I just potter. See, that's a game. That's a game where you have to figure things out, isn't it? Because I kept dying in the cold up on the plateau, and I couldn't work out how to warm myself. And then I realised that you could eat a plant or a fire thing. I don't know what it is, pickle or something. And that kept me warm, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting."
Yeah, I'm going to keep talking about that game for years and years and years, I think, because even still to this day, myself and other Adam, we would send each other a video of something new that's happened. And he'd be like, "Have you seen this?" And I'd be like, "Never have I seen that happen in the game." 2 years down the line, that shit still goes on. I've met a friend of mine who didn't get on with the game at all, and my fucking head explodes because I'm just like, how is it not clicking? I am incredibly jealous that you're going through this for the first time.
Do you know it's my first Zelda game as well? So
that's okay because I can probably safely say it's my favourite Zelda game. It's my favourite franchise ever, and I think Breath of the Wild is my favourite Zelda game. So we went completely sidetracked there because that's what fucking Zelda does.
Yeah.
So I'm sure people like listening to Zelda conversations.
Oh, all the time. We should only do podcasts on Zelda.
So next question, David Ayres, at David Ayres. Where do you guys stand on eating your Easter eggs before Easter Sunday?
Terrible. You're a terrible person if you eat those before Easter Sunday.
Is that really a thing?
I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
Oh, go on.
You've scoffed
I didn't have any Easter eggs this morning.
Chris.
Why?
Neither did I, to be honest. You've eaten them all. Oh my god.
Well, to be fair, I only had 3, so I got one a couple of weeks ago, and then Reese's Pieces Easter egg. That was beautiful.
God.
Is that your go-to?
Man, Reese's Pieces is my favourite chocolate.
Oh my god.
Fucking delightful.
I can't even look at you, Chris. Can't look at you.
No? Nicola, not a fan?
No. Disgusting.
No, what's your go-to?
Well, I'm not a big fan of chocolate.
No, come on.
I don't mind chocolate. I mean, I'll tell you what I have eaten today. I have had some today. Some mini eggs. Cadbury's mini eggs. I like those.
There's a good crunch off that and a good bite. Yeah.
Good crunch.
Yeah.
But I don't tend to eat a lot of chocolate because I have a rheumatoid disorder called Sjögren's syndrome, and it affects my salivary glands, so I don't produce much saliva in my mouth, so I can't really afford to eat lots of sweet stuff because
that's fair.
I get acid erosion. Everybody has acid erosion on their teeth, but mine is magnified because I don't have enough saliva to kind of neutralize it. So I tend to not really eat a lot of sweet stuff. Don't get me wrong, I do eat sweet stuff, but I don't eat a lot of it. So eating chocolate and stuff like that, I've kind of weaned myself off it many, many years ago, so I don't sit and go, "Oh, yay, I've got Easter eggs," or anything like that. In fact, I mean, my son gets Easter eggs, but he doesn't really eat a lot of chocolate. There must be something wrong with him. I think something might be wrong with him. But he doesn't really eat a lot of chocolate. And we've had in the past where we've gone into a cupboard and we found an Easter egg 6 months later and we've gone, Do you think that's still okay? I'm not even sure if that's okay. So
I don't know. Like, for some reason, I feel like Easter eggs have just been out for the last 4 months.
Oh, they are. As soon as Christmas is done, they're on, aren't
just
they?
Always there, right? And then, I was in the supermarket today, and they just were non-existent. They were just all gone, wiped. And I was like, there was hundreds of eggs here, 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And I think the thing about it is, I'm not really I don't really care about Easter eggs. I'm just like, I see an Easter egg. If I see an Easter egg in a house and it's just there, I'm like, are we opening it? Like, why is that just sitting there in its box? Like, it's chocolate and I'm here, so put it in my face. And the thing is, I went off to Aldi recently and my girlfriend was there and she just went, oh my God, look at all that. And I was like, do you know what they started releasing just standard a crunchy egg and buttons egg, but it's just the egg and then one packet of buttons or one crunchy in it, you know? And all of these were there and they were all 99 cents each, right? Mm-hmm. And of course she had to buy 20 of them. And I was just like, why are we getting 20 eggs? Why? They're just going to be there now and I'm going to feel really bad and I'm going to turn into Bruce Bogtrotter from Matilda and just have chocolate all over my face for the rest of the week. So you could
have built a fort with the boxes.
I could have, Chris, and I should have, because then I could have just ate all those eggs in that fort guilt-free.
Would you have fitted into the fort after eating all of that chocolate?
Maybe not.
No, yeah, that would be an issue. But the thing is, I'm not waiting. I'm going to eat right now. That's just it. I don't get up and go, brilliant. Because is it not better to do that? Because if you hold off and you have all these eggs, and then as a kid as well, you're like, if a parent is going, you can't have them until Easter Sunday now, and you're like, oh Jesus, right? You're going to be in trouble then, ma'am, because when Sunday comes around, I'm eating all 30 eggs that I've received from all the aunts and uncles, and I'm going to get sick everywhere, and you're going to have to clean it up, and that's just that. Do you know? So
no, I agree.
We probably should be eating all the eggs before Sunday comes.
The pair of you. Animals.
Final question of the podcast is from Adam the Cookster Cook at Jeebus
The Cookie Monster.
Hey Adam.
Hi.
Ronda Rousey isn't great in MK11, which I second because she is shit in it. Which other voice acting, mate? She can't act for shit. She voice is Sonya Blade.
Oh, okay.
So if you're a Sonya Blade fan, unlucky. Yeah. But which other celeb collaborations haven't really worked out for games? Now, this is a good question. I tried to find someone that I didn't like. So
I can't think of any.
So I've got a few examples of good voice acting. So Kiefer Sutherland in Metal Gear 5, Liam Neeson in Fallout 3, Seth Green in Mass Effect, and Martin Sheen in Mass Effect.
Yeah, but these are actors. These are Ronda Rousey isn't an actor.
But
no, she's been in The Expendables.
Yeah.
I would give her and now she's in WWE, so there's acting kind of there.
So there's quite a few, but then I thought, and I don't know how whether people listening would be going, oh my God, I can't say that. But Haley Joel Osment in Kingdom Hearts is fucking annoying. So if I had to pick someone, it'd be him.
Shows.
His voice, he's a full-grown man now, but he's putting on this kiddie voice, which bugs me anyway. And it's just irritating. Playing that game and just listening to him, it does my head in.
I'm trying to think if there's any that have irritated me that are famous.
I couldn't think of celebrities, as in, I know what you're saying, Nick, because they're all trained actors.
Yeah.
But I can't think of anyone that has done something that, I don't know.
I think the only one that comes to my head that I can't remember. I don't think there was anything he said in the game, but I definitely went, oh no, go away. Probably Conor McGregor in Call of Duty.
Oh yeah, good shout.
Wasn't it Infinite Warfare he was in?
Yeah, he was in that.
And I think I just saw it.
Complete cash-in.
Fuck that. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those ones.
Yeah, no, that's a good shout.
One thing that I think this might fit. It's like I did a news piece recently that Danny Dyer is... There's a voice pack for Danny Dyer in Rage 2. Now, I like Danny Dyer.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's a bit of a dick, but I find him amusing, and his accent amuses me, and the stuff that he says amuses me. And I think, yes, he's a perfect fit for Rage 2. And there's a few little voice lines from that news piece that I did that made me chuckle, but he does sound like he's phoned it in a little bit. So I'm kind of keen to see how that's gone. And whilst I've just said that, I just remembered Dinklage in Destiny.
Oh, Destiny.
He definitely dialed that in.
Yeah, because he's a fucking incredible
he's great,
actor.
But he was dreadful. The Dinklebot was dreadful.
Yeah.
Do you know actually who was just, while you mentioned Kingdom Hearts there, Chris, I have to give a nod to James Wood as, is it Hades he plays?
Hades, yeah.
I think he's very good as that, like, you know, it's a good performance as well. But it's kind of hard to pick, like, ones that are just crap. I just think... It was just, I think McGregor was just that one. That was the one where I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
No, like, that's perfect. Because, like, he's not an actor. He's not even a fighter anymore.
Yeah.
He's just a criminal. So, so yeah. But I won't say that to his face. So, and clearly he's listening to our podcast. So I'm sorry.
Always,
Connor.
every week.
Yeah, every week.
While drinking proper whiskey.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a wrap. So thank you all for listening. You can read all the reviews and content and stuff on everything we've been talking about. We'll have reviews written for World War Z and Astroneer.
Astroneer, yes.
At some point. The Mortal Kombat review in progress is up now, and the review will be soon. But yeah, you can follow us all on Twitter. I'm at FirstAvenger83. Adam is at AdamZokes, and Nick is at wavy_gravy. And you can follow God is a Geek at God is a Geek, where you'll get all our updates, all our news pieces, all our features and events and stuff like that. You can also support us on Patreon by donating a little bit every month to get exclusive content, early podcasts, giveaways, stuff like that. You can go there, patreon.com/God is a Geek. Thank you guys for joining me.
You're welcome.
Absolutely.
And we'll speak to you all soon. Take care and goodbye.